So I wanted to do something a little bit different today in honor of hitting 50,000 subscribers. I wanted to do a little Q&A so you can kind of get to know me better and things can feel a little bit more personal. First of all, I know how cliche this is to say, but I genuinely want to thank you so much for watching my videos, subscribing to me, liking my videos, commenting, DMing me, sending me super sweet messages. It's been so amazing just in these past few months. I feel like connecting with so many of you guys, seeing your sweet messages, all of the people who tell me that I inspired them or motivated them or they relate to me, or they're so incredibly appreciative and grateful. So thank you. With that being said, I get questions quite often just about basic things about me, and it's totally on me because I haven't really talked about a lot of those things before. I'm going to be answering some questions. I'm also going to be giving some advice, tips, telling you about me a little bit, telling you about my life story. We've got a whole lot to talk about, so we're getting cozy. I have a cup of tea here, like I'm in my bed, so you can like get a snack or something, and it's kind of like a podcast. So I posted a community post on YouTube asking you to ask me questions, and I'm going to answer some of those. But before I start, I want to just kind of give you like the basics, like give you an overview of me. So my name is Sophie DiLoreto, and actually my first name is Sophia. I am 22 years old. Birthday is June 7th, 2001. That means I'm a Gemini sun. I'm not into astrology, but if you are curious, I'm a Sagittarius rising and a Capricorn moon. A little fun fact about me is that I'm left-handed, which isn't that interesting of a fact, but some people have noticed that before and like commented when I'm journaling or something, like, are you left-handed? I am left-handed. And if you're left-handed, I automatically just think you're super cool. If you're right-handed, I still like love you too. I also live in Michigan, which is in the United States. If you didn't know, I live in the Metro Detroit area and I've lived here my whole life. I have one brother who is 2 years older than me. His name is Jack. And I also have two stepbrothers that are quite a bit younger than me. They are like on my dad's side. Also, I'm 5'2.5". A lot of people ask me how tall I am. In case you were curious, I have two dogs, but I actually have had cats my whole entire life, like so many cats. I'm totally like a cat person as well. I'm honestly just like an animal lover in general. I never bought a cat or like got a cat from anyone. They all literally just showed up on our doorsteps. I'm definitely gonna have cats in the future, like in my future house and stuff, but that is a little bit about me. So a lot of people ask me about kind of just like my situation right now, like am I working, am I in school, like what am I doing? I'm graduated from college. I graduated in August of 2023. I decided to go to community college first because I was really struggling with anxiety and OCD. It was really bad and it was really new to me, so I hadn't yet learned how to cope with it. I felt like I couldn't at that time move away to college, like it was not the right time for me, so I decided to go to community college. I took an environmental science class and I absolutely like knew that that was what I wanted to do. I'd always been super passionate about the environment since high school, and maybe before it was like really on my radar, and I knew that that was something I wanted to help out in like some way, like that's what I wanted my career path to be. But I didn't know environmental science was like a degree. I didn't know that was an option. So when I found that class, I was like, yep, this is it. I transferred to the University of Michigan, so I got my Bachelor of Science in Earth and Environmental Science. I took lots of geology courses, but I never wanted to be a geologist. I'm mainly interested in oceanography. It's kind of like my dream career. I was interested in the physical properties of water, so like things like mixing, salinity levels, nutrient density of bodies of water, ice coverage on water. Like there's so many different aspects of it, but I considered immediately going to grad school following my graduation. I wanted to go to Scripps Institute of Oceanography, which is in San Diego. San Diego is my dream place to live, and Scripps is one of the like top oceanography schools. I decided not to go immediately following graduation because I've heard you should never pay for your master's degree. Like your job should pay for it. So if you get a job in the future, they will pay for you to go to school. I already obviously was like deep in student loans. I didn't want to do that immediately. So that's where I am now. Those are my career goals and aspirations. I want to be an oceanographer. I also am really interested in climate policy. I've been trying to apply to things that are like that. So it's like implementing a new climate initiative here in Michigan. Or the reason that I'm like not working and like not in school right now is literally only because I have had a really hard time trying to get a job. I've heard people say the job market is really bad right now, and I definitely am feeling that. Obviously it's hard anyways because it's my first post-grad job, but I've applied to about 100 jobs at this point. I've gotten 4 interviews out of all of those applications, so that tells you how it's going for me. So it kind of feels like a blessing in disguise because even though I always wanted wanted to start a YouTube channel. I never had the time to. I was always so into school. I was focused on getting like 4.0s. I trying to make YouTube videos, even though, like I said, I'd wanted to do it since middle school. Like I could not stay consistent with it until I graduated. So after graduating, I was able to finally give it the time that I'd always wanted to put into YouTube, and it was something I always knew I could do, and I was finally like able to do that, and I wouldn't have been able to if I had gotten a job immediately. So I feel like I'm not dwelling on that, and I'm not stressing out over not being able to get a job immediately. I'm just like enjoying where life has me right now, and I feel like I'm just trusting that the right opportunity will come along and things will work out when they're ready, and every opportunity that I have is serving me in some way. Interviews that I don't get the job, I'm still getting interview experience, and I'm expanding my worldview, so that hopefully will explain to you my situation. The next question I want to answer is, am I moving out soon, or like when am I moving out? It would be nice to move out, but it wouldn't really be financially smart at this point. I'm really just focusing on storing money away, planning to move out in the next year to year and a half time frame, and when I move out, it will be my boyfriend and I moving in together. We are both saving to hopefully buy a house, but I'm still just enjoying the time that I'm like living here at home, because after this, you know, I'll never be like living here at home with my mom and my brother ever again. Honestly, really sad. So I'm totally not taking any of this for granted, and I'm just like enjoying this time that I have here, still living with my family. Someone asked my favorite hobby. I love singing. I was in choir all throughout middle school and high school, and show choir. Playing the piano. I love reading. Watching movies is one of my favorite things ever, if that's considered a hobby. I'm so into film and like good cinematography. I love watching movies. I love writing. I've always been so into writing, and actually in elementary school even, I loved writing, and I felt like I was pretty good at it. It felt like something that kind of came naturally to me. I actually thought, before I started going down the environmental science path, I thought that I wanted to be a writer, not for like writing novels, but I wanted to be like a fashion magazine writer or editor or like columnist. Like that was one of my little fantasies. I love doing anything artistic. Both of my parents are graphic designers and very creative people, so any like form of creative expression like that. Jewelry making, scrapbooking, drawing, painting, coloring. I feel like I could go on and on, but you get the idea. Someone said, what was my dream job when I was younger? I had so many different interests. When I was in elementary school, I was doing dance, and I loved a part of dance where I would get to get ready, like where my mom would do my makeup and I would get dressed up. And honestly, I was super outgoing in elementary school and like the start of middle school. Like before I hit puberty, I was so like confident, genuinely confident. It was like middle school hit and things really like changed, like I think when I hit puberty. But the point of that story is that I dressed so out there. I mean, I would wear like 50 different flower barrettes in my hair, and I would wear things covered in sequins. I literally would wear eyeshadow to school, like in elementary school. Like I would wear blue eyeshadow and like glittery eyeshadow. I'd put stickers on my face. So I always loved fashion and makeup and stuff. I was like, maybe I'll be a makeup artist, maybe I'll be a hairstylist, maybe I will do something with fashion. In middle school, I still thought about being a makeup artist, but then the next thing was I was into fitness. So random. I literally had like a fitness Instagram account. I was like, I think maybe I'll be a personal trainer. Then high school, I started going more down like the environmental science field. I went like vegetarian, and I started thinking I wanted to do something in terms of that. And the other thing was still being like a writer or an editor for a fashion magazine. Next question is, how do you get back on track when you feel burnt out? I think that when you're feeling burnt out, it's a sign that something needs to change in terms of your routine or your schedule. Everyone gets burnt out from time to time, but I think that if you're burnt out from doing too much and from having so much going on in your life, you need to find some time to schedule for like you time, for like relaxing time. You might not have like a lot of time, but find time. Like look through your schedule and find a night, an evening or a morning or some time where you can actually just relax and do some things for yourself, like take a bubble bath, some self-care, do whatever it is that you like to do. Maybe it's like reading or just watching a movie. I think the best way for me to kind of recharge from being overworked is by taking a bath. I'll turn on a meditation and then let all of my worries and stresses leave my mind. Something else I like to do is, if I'm feeling kind of pulled in all directions or like I'm all over the place, whenever a thought comes into my head, like an idea or like something I need to do, I'll just write it down in my phone, like in my notes app or Notion, and And that way I give my brain the rest from having to keep all of these mental lists. That's something that could help. But if you're feeling burnt out regularly, I think the way that you schedule like your school, your study time, your appointments, your work, schedule in self-care time as well. Like, it sounds really silly, but that can be what it comes down to. It almost gives you something to look forward to in the week. Like, that's going to be your recharge time. That's going to be the time for you to get back on track. I got a lot of questions about like, how did I get into YouTube? I can't even remember a time when I didn't want to have a YouTube channel. It's been such a big part of my thoughts for so long. I vividly remember being in like 6th grade and wanting to really start a YouTube channel. It was the time when beauty gurus were like thriving on YouTube. It was that sort of era. Like, YouTubers were a really big thing, and there was all of those, you know, beauty gurus, like that's what they were called. I was obsessed. It felt like everything that I already loved doing. I loved makeup, I loved hair, I loved skincare, fashion. It just felt like all of the things that I loved. And I even loved like photography and like videography. I was already into all of that. So I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. Like, I want to be this person. So from then on, I would talk to myself constantly. I would pretend like I was filming a makeup tutorial every time I did my makeup. I would pretend like I was doing a what's in my shower every time I was taking a shower. Like, I would actually film on my phone, like literally all the time. I had billions of videos on my phone of me just like walking around my house that I would literally just delete after, but like it became a habit. I still have videos from years and years and years ago, like before I even had a channel or anything, that I would just take just because I wanted to and just because like I liked doing it. So I actually tried to start a channel in like 8th grade. The main roadblock for me was that I was really scared somebody from my school would see. I feel like that's a really common fear of like people trying to start a YouTube channel. I didn't want anybody that I knew to know. The second thing though is it's really like a complicated process. There's a lot that goes into it. So many just little things, like how do I properly size my channel banner, and like how do I make my thumbnails, and like how do I get my footage from my camera to my computer. Like, there were so many questions because I was so young and I didn't really know, and my parents could help me with some of it. So my dad made me my first channel banner and like helped me get my channel set up. But then I remember filming my first video, and it was like an intro channel video, and I didn't know how to edit. I filmed it and I was like, what do I do now? So I just gave up trying. And then a few years went by, and every year I wanted to do it so bad. Like in high school, every single year, like my #1 goal for the year in my bullet journal was like, start posting on YouTube. And I couldn't do it. And then when I would get past the mental block of like people that I knew seeing it, I would get to the block of not knowing concrete things. There's so much that goes into making and posting a YouTube video. Like, there were so many things I didn't know. So finally, I think I was just about to be in 11th grade when I decided to start for real, and I was so serious about it. And it was when I started online school, so I finally felt comfortable enough. I finally was like, okay, even if somebody saw it, they couldn't say something to me about it at school, which sounds so stupid now. I made my first video, which is still on my channel right now. I was using a giant DSLR camera that my mom had. It was an amazing camera, the Canon EOS 5D Mark III. It did not have a viewfinder. I had to put a teddy bear in the frame, go to behind the camera and focus it on the teddy bear, then run around and move the teddy bear and sit where it was sitting. And I wouldn't know until after I filmed the entire video, I wouldn't know if the clip was in focus or not. So it was like such a process. And then the other thing was the camera was constantly making like focusing noises. It was such a complicated camera because it was like a very professional camera that I just did not know how to use it. But I did my best. I did my best with editing, and I posted that video. And someone said, was there a time where you couldn't be productive at all? Absolutely. I mean, there are totally times when I can't be productive. I do want to say though, I've had some people say like, are you actually as productive as you are in your videos? I honestly am. I'm just motivated and driven in general. I'm like disciplined with myself. I don't know if that's just my personality or if that's the way I've like formed myself to be. What you see in my videos, it isn't all of my life, but it is like real. Like, it is my life and it is what I actually do each day. But I will say that when my mental health is bad, when I'm having a day where my anxiety is really bad, I sometimes will just literally have to sit like in my bed all day. Sometimes I'll have a stomach ache from anxiety. Like, I get lots of physical symptoms that manifest from my mental issues. So sometimes I'll wake up and I'll just have like a really bad stomach ache for like a week straight, and I literally just have to lay in bed and I can't do anything. So I think that it's really important not to guilt trip yourself when that happens, and not to be hard on yourself, and to realize that you will go through seasons and phases in your life, and there's going to be times when things are harder. When I was extremely depressed, I was extremely unproductive. Like, I really felt dead inside. I felt numb, got super behind on my online classes. I couldn't do anything. I literally couldn't motivate myself to do anything. So I think if you're like currently depressed, if you're dealing with mental health issues, it's like a whole nother thing, and it's really hard to be productive when you feel that way. So I think that's like a different can of worms. If that's the situation you're in, you need to sort of tackle that first. Like, that's what I had to do, and it might just take a while. Like, you have to kind of just be forgiving with yourself and gentle with yourself, knowing that you can't always be like that. But I've tried to get myself to this place because I know I feel good when I'm productive, these goals I'm working towards and these things I want to accomplish. And like, life is so precious, and I just feel so grateful to be alive every day that I want to make the most of it. It almost feels like an insult to my life if I'm not making the most of it. So it's kind of how I feel, and that's kind of what gets me to be productive. Lots of people asked about my relationship, how I met my boyfriend now. I was hanging out with a friend, and he brought my current boyfriend with him, and I had met him like once before. He went to the other school that was like in my school district in high school, and I knew of him, and I'd like met him once before, but I immediately was like I liked him. Any guys that had like tried to get with me up until then, I was just like, I don't know. Then like when I talked to him, I was like, something is different. Like, something is different about him. I remember we were just in the back seat talking about music, and he was like, show me your playlist. And I like started showing him my main playlist, and every song he was like, oh my god, you know this song? Like, I love this song. And I was like, you know this song? Like, he would say like, I feel like you're like the girl version of me. And I was like, I feel like you're like the boy version of me. And I just developed a fat crush on him. And by the end of December, we were talking like all the time. We would literally Snapchat for hours. It was so obvious that we both liked each other at that point. We literally just became great friends. And then he asked me to hang out with him like one-on-one for the first time, and he asked me to go skiing with him. I was so scared because I'd never been skiing, and he had only gone one time before, but I agreed to go with him, and I was so nervous, but I like really wanted to hang out with him, and I really wanted to go. So we went skiing. We were together the whole day, and we literally like had the best time ever. We would be sitting on a ski lift, and we would say the same thing at the exact same time, or like we would break out into the same part of the same song at the same time, and like we were so on the same wavelength. Like, it was so obvious that it was right. You know, I always say like, when you know, you know. Like, I knew already then. Like, he asked me to hang out again, and then like it was Valentine's Day, and he asked me to like be his Valentine, and we've been dating for 3 years now. 3 years, and he has never changed. He is just as sweet, kind, amazing, the best boyfriend in the entire world as he was when we started dating. Like, he has restored my faith in humanity. I literally got to the point where I was like, I will never have like the type of relationship that you see in movies. I will never experience that type of love. And now I have it, and every day I'm just like, how did I find this amazing boy? Like, he's so perfect. So a lot of you wanted to know about my relationship. His name is Yoni. It's spelled Joni. If you're wondering, he's Albanian. That's why I'm trying to learn Albanian too, because I know some of it, but I definitely want to be able to speak it properly. He is in college currently, but he's working full-time. So like, whereas I went to school full-time and like worked part-time, he's been doing like full-time work and part-time school, so he's like paying it himself. I'm honestly so impressed. Like, props to him. He's amazing. But he is going to be graduating in December of this coming year, so after that we want to move in together, and we want to do some fun trips, and it's going to be really fun. But there's a little bit more about him. If you're like wanting to be in a relationship, I know they say this, but like, just wait. I feel like right person will come when you're ready and when the time is right. There's like a bigger plan going on than you know, so you might need to learn some lessons before it's like that time for you. I would just say, just be patient, and in the meanwhile, focus on yourself so that when that person comes around, you can show up as your best self. So the next thing I want to talk about is a very big part of my life, but it's about anxiety, OCD. I honestly want to make like a whole podcast episode about this in the future. Just to quickly summarize, I started experiencing panic attacks in 7th grade. I didn't even know like what anxiety was. I was actually at a choir and band concert where I literally had a solo in choir, and I also like was playing in the band. I was walking down a hallway with my 2 friends. We were walking up to meet our parents in the lobby before the show started, and as I was walking, I felt like my eyes started to feel weird, and I kept describing it as everything felt too clear. Really difficult to try to like describe this to people, they didn't understand, but it immediately freaked me out. Like, something was wrong like with my eyes. eyes. I felt like sort of dizzy, and then I started panicking and I went out to my parents and I was like crying immediately, like hyperventilating, and I was like, something is wrong, everything feels too clear, like something's wrong with my eyes. They were so confused. I had been such a performer. I would perform in dance competitions like every week, choir performances, I was doing solos, I was doing talent shows. They were like, what is going on, you know? I had no idea. I mean, none of us had any idea. My parents, like neither of them had ever dealt with anything like this. That was the very first time, and it only got way worse from there. I got so many physical symptoms from my anxiety, and I'm honestly saying this all in the past tense. It is still all true to this day. So I was starting to experience all of this. We didn't know it was anxiety, and we went to so many different doctors and they didn't know. I started missing 30 days a semester at school. I would scratch myself during panic attacks. It's kind of just like I'm so overwhelmed and I go numb and I can't feel anything, and I like scratch myself, or I'll like dig my hands into my nails, and I don't know why I do that. It's my go-to thing, and I really try not to, but sometimes when I'm at the height of a panic attack, I just do it. It's like a subconscious thing. And then I would go to school and everyone would wonder why I have scratches on me, and it was like embarrassing, and I didn't want to go to school. I would cry and my parents would try to like rip me out of the house in the morning, and I was like, I can't go, please don't make me go. And the main thing that my anxiety revolves around, and I will not go into any more detail about this because literally talking about it, like I will start shaking, but if you want to know more about it, please like just look it up. But I have something called emetophobia. It's extremely severe. It affects me in so many more ways than like you could possibly imagine. So if you know what it is and you have it, I feel you so hard. I felt like the only person in the world that has this. I felt so hopeless. I kind of still feel these things, and it plays into my OCD. My brain just tells me to do things, and if I don't do it, there's like a consequence. So it especially acts up during times of anxiety. I've improved a lot, but my anxiety hasn't improved. The only thing that's improved has been the way that I cope with it. Now getting into like the tips that I have for if you have anxiety, distract yourself. I genuinely think that that's the best thing for anxiety. It's like redirection. It's an ongoing thing. It's not something that just goes away, and it's not something that you can conquer. It's literally just always going to be there. It's not like you just face it and like face your fears and then it's gone. It's always going to be there unless like I guess you take medication. This is the reason that I started doing online school and everything. But my best tip is for when I'm feeling anxious, I start immediately doing something else, like coloring. It has to be something that gets your mind actually like focused. It can't just be like watching a movie, but like maybe watching a movie and coloring. Get a coloring book if you have anxiety. I'm so serious. It helped me through so many hard times, and you'll start to do it and you'll be like, this is stupid, I'm still so anxious. But after a while, you'll forget that you were even anxious. And I've done this when I'm extremely anxious and I'm like, think I need to go to the emergency room, and I start doing this and like 30 minutes pass and I'm like, oh my god, I forgot that I was like anxious. Try not to lose hope. I honestly was in such a dark place a few years ago, and I never thought that it would get better. I didn't even think I was going to be able to like have a real normal job or go to school in person again, and I made a lot of progress and I was able to do a lot with it. So just don't lose hope. That's my piece of advice for you. I said, what's my dream place to live? It is San Diego. I want to live in California. I want to live by a beach. I want to live somewhere that has like a walkable city nearby, and somewhere that I can go to the beach literally every single day and swim in the ocean, learn to surf, eat smoothie bowls, eat acai bowls. That is my dream. The last question that I'm going to answer, because I've been talking for like 2 hours, is advice for starting a YouTube channel. Wow, I feel like I have so much advice. There is so much that I didn't know about YouTube. Even when I thought I knew a lot, like in the past few months, there's just so much that I've learned. My first tip is to just do it, like actually do it. If it's something you've been thinking about for so long and you feel like you would be good at it and you really want to do it, and this honestly, this goes for anything, like starting anything that you want to do or like pursuing some dream that you have, just start it. Like if you think like, no, I need to wait until I have a nice camera or whatever it is, just start doing it. Like sooner the better. And first video is the scariest, but then every time after that, it's a little bit less scary, and you start to get more comfortable and you start to get better at it. And another really important tip is to actually post consistently. It truly makes such a difference. Like, you can't see the growth that you want to see and the progress that you want to see until you start posting consistently and learning new skills, like learning how to edit better. I've heard people say like try to improve one thing each video, like try to improve your text in one video, your audio in the next video, or learn a new editing technique. Like try to constantly be continually improving your videos. Maybe maybe get second opinions from people about what they think about your videos, but those are some basic tips. There's so much to it, but I'm sorry that I couldn't answer every single question in here. I might do like Q&As in the future, or portions of Q&As in other videos, or if you'd want like a girl talk video or relationship talk video or anything, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you watched this whole video. I really appreciate you, and I want to thank you again for supporting me, supporting my channel. I wish you all the best in everything that you do. If you watched up until this point of the video, comment this emoji, and please, if you resonated with any part of this video, please leave a comment about it. I would love to hear your thoughts about this video, or hear your thoughts about any of the things that I said, and talk with you guys more and just connect more, because I feel like that's one of the most amazing things about this channel and like having this channel. I get to know you guys more too, and I like hearing your personal accounts and your stories and things that you resonated with and things that you found helpful. So please let me know, and I will see you very soon. Bye guys.